A true leader, I think, is a servant leader, someone who sees the privilege of their leadership position as a way to serve the community, not so much focused on self-aggrandizement or enrichment of their own lives, but more on how are they serving the community as a community trustee. You know, the strongest leaders I've worked with and for really see their role in that capacity, and that is an example I've tried to follow in my current role here at WJCT. Am I fulfilling my obligation to be a trustee of this community? Am I helping to improve this community in the way that I've been given this platform? Am I using this platform for the public good? So that's really my main focus, and I think that that characteristic is what defines a true leader. I think the word that best describes me is curious. I think the best journalists have intellectual curiosity. They're curious to constantly learn more about the world. They read, they study, they question. They want knowledge and information. And that certainly is how I've been all of my life, curious. I think that's probably the best word. I guess they would describe me as collegially intense about doing a good job. I hope that's a fair description of how my colleagues see me. As I've gotten older, I definitely have mellowed out, but I still have an intensity and a strong focus every day to do the best possible work, while at the same time, working collegially with my colleagues in the newsroom. And, in the past, I've worked with people in broadcasting that weren't so collegial, so I'm very mindful of that being a bad example, and I try to do the opposite and lead with the other way of interacting, which is positive, but also very focused on the work. I'd say the person who has had the greatest impact on my life is my mom, and she has passed away. But she, more than anyone in my life, was my first and most important role model. She taught me about love, about acceptance, about forgiveness. Definitely my mother. I think there is no one event or experience that has driven that commitment. It's more been a series of experiences. I first moved to Jacksonville in 2003. My husband and I came up here from Orlando with an 8-month-old baby. I didn't know a thing about this community, and I learned about it over time. And I think there have been several different experiences I've had that have made me very conscious of the divide in this community between the haves and the have-nots, people with resources and money and material comforts, middle class and above people, and people who are really struggling with poverty, with violent crime, with family breakdown, with bad neighborhoods, with no access to health insurance. So a number of events in the course of me working in journalism and also serving on different nonprofit committees and boards have made me really conscious of that. And it's something that I think all of us as servant leaders have an obligation to try to alleviate and help with as much as we can. I think it's important to give back to the community simply because it's the right thing to do. That's the way I was raised. If you've been given many advantages and opportunities, you really do have an obligation to reach out, lend a hand to help others as much as you are possibly able to do. I think the saying is, do all the good you can for as many people as you can, for as long as you can. And I believe that. I was raised that way, and I try to live that way. The individual in this community that I admire the most is Dolores Barr Weaver. I think she is just the exemplar of what I talked about doing all the good you can to help as many people as you can for as long as you can. Mrs. Weaver and her husband, too, have taken all of the blessings that have been bestowed upon them and are the ultimate community trustees. And whether you have that level of resources or a far smaller level of resources, it's an example anyone can follow. There's always something anyone can do to help those who are less fortunate. And I definitely think Dolores Weaver is the ultimate role model in this community for doing that. And she's certainly an inspiration to so many other women and men that are like-minded, that want to help others. Having good health means access to a better quality of life and freedom from worry.